next guest speaker is a Louisian since high school to college. He is a NBA Masters of Business Administration in University of Cagayan Valley, Juris Doctor in University of Cagayan Valley, former youth representative of RPSB, Regional Public Safety Battalion Region 2, former chapter president of Legal Network for Truthful Elections, former executive assistant to the mayor of Peña Blanca, currently attorney of DSWP, and our professor in University of St. Louis in Riverau. Please welcome Attorney Eric Lingan.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
sir.
First of all, I would like to take this opportunity sa Jfinex, sa whole Jfinex organization. Uh, because of this, I can share my thoughts and insights on what is happening as regards to the rule of law during this pandemic. So, may I be able, can I request that I may share my screen with you guys? If it's okay. Okay na? Nakikita ba? Nakikita na yung screen ko?
Yes, attorney.
Yes. Okay. So, first of all, I've attended a lot of webinars during this pandemic, and it has transitioned from merely speaking to really presenting so that you can really address your point to the viewers or to the audience. That's why I really enjoyed, uh, somehow I enjoyed this part kasi I can make my speeches or talks a lot more relatable to the viewers. So, my topic is about rule of law in pandemic. So first and foremost, every aspect of life is affected by COVID-19 pandemic. Kahit mayaman, kahit mahirap, and we are bombarded with rules that we have to follow that we don't usually do, like wearing mask, like social distancing, of course, the use of alcohol almost every minute. Kasi dati, ang mga nag-alcohol lang before, to be frank, is yung mga sobrang malinis sa katawan. But now, everyone is doing it because of health repercussions. Okay? So, like all other life, the administration of justice and access to legal remedies and dispute resolution have been severely disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So how can we understand the effects of COVID-19 pandemic to the justice system? Okay? First and foremost, uh, before before the pandemic, oath taking in the bar exams is personal. So it was never really digital. This is the first time that oath taking in the bar exam was done online. The first ever. So this means something that this might stay for a while or this might be the new norm. And this is becoming the new norm. Okay, kasi if isasuggest mo yan before ng pandemic sa Supreme Court, they will deny that. Kasi you have to take your oath personally. Okay, but now they allow it via Zoom ito noon. Okay, and pandemic began on at year 2020 and we took our oath 2020 rin. Kaya we have to adjust, we have to adapt. So dun pa lang, meron ng effects ang pandemic. Okay? And of course, also the signing of the roll of attorneys. Previously, you can have your parents, your loved ones with you there signing in the roll of attorneys. and taking that immortal picture, but now it's just you because of safety protocols. So, let's go on. More. There is pandemic. What can we make of it? What are the challenges and the opportunities that come with the pandemic with regards to the rule of law? Okay? Before, to understand it better, okay, Philippines has already existing problems before the pandemic. Meron na dating prison overcrowding. Madami ng backlogs sa cases ng court. Meron ng unequal access to healthcare and social services even before the pandemic. May ongoing conflict and of course, corruption. That is ever present even before the pandemic. What more so now na merong ganito tayong hinaharap? It is amplified. Okay? These challenges, these problems that are pre-existing before the pandemic has been amplified. Take note, with more than half of its 110 million population living in the Luzon region, including Metro Manila, implementation of enhanced community quarantine regulations were introduced. Di ba? ECQ, MCQ, MECQ, GCQ, iba't iba. This includes strict curfew. Di ba? Bawal nang lumabas kapag gabi. Which is hindi bawal before. Okay? But now, what's the reasoning with that? I can't understand. Lalabas ka ba pag gabi? Mas konti ba ang virus pag gabi? Hindi ko alam. Police military checkpoints and pass systems. Okay, before ka makalabas, makapunta sa ibang lugar ngayon, di ba, meron kayong travel pass. Before kayo makapasok sa ibang municipality or city, di ba, you have to go through checkpoints. But are these checkpoints really doing their job? You ask me. I don't know. Kasi, even though may checkpoints, meron pa rin transmissions na hindi naman nag-originate here. Especially sa atin, sa Cagayan. Bakit kaya? Oh. Because the law can be well done, but the implementation of the law is always going to be problematic. It's the people implementing the law. Okay? Cancellation of public transportation wherein almost everyone is affected. Why? Because not everyone has their own vehicle to take them from one place to another. I remember during ECQ, I had to buy groceries. I can see people walking because they don't have transportation. Sir, ba't di mo sinakay? Hindi ko rin naman alam kung may COVID din sila, di ba? So we need to take a precaution. And a lot of people are affected by the cancellation of public transportation. I'm glad that even if MECQ or I think ECQ may konti na nag-ooperate. Kasi that is essential now. It does not affect only transportation kasi pati yung trabaho nila. What if nire-require silang mag-appear to work? Diba? And closure of most industries and government services, which I think ang dami kayong na-witness. Dito pa lang sa ang dami nang nag-close ng mga businesses that has been existing before pa tayo pinanganak, before pa ako pinanganak. May mga nag-close na. It has also negatively impacted women and low-income workers in particular. Bakit women? Okay, there has been a statistic before that the rise of rape or sexual abuse in home has been really increasing during this pandemic. Why? Because you cannot go out. Merong statistic dyan. Talagang nag-increase ang sexual abuse with regards to women. Okay? Kaya nang sabi natin kanina, we're experiencing community quarantines. Diba? Nag-start yan. ECQ, then MECQ, then GCQ. Ewan ko kung bakit mayroong BBQ dyan sa picture. Pero bakit may BBQ dyan? Kasi ganito daw yan, guys. ECQ, MECQ, GCQ, MECQ uli. Pabago-bago man ang mundo, ikaw pa rin ang BBQ. Okay? So I'm trying to shed light kasi hindi naman pwedeng mag-stick tayo sa negative effects of pandemic. We still have to smile, to laugh. Okay? And then, after that, yung napansin natin na every 15 days, di ba? Malalaman mo ang tadhana ng municipality or city mo kung MECQ na kayo, GCQ na kayo, o ECQ pa rin kayo, di ba? I think you'd observe that. Okay, every 15 days yan noon. Di ba? Ayan. ECQ, MECQ, meron pang GCQ with restrictions, meron ng GCQ with heightened restrictions. Nakaka-confuse, di ba? Ito pa. Meron ng bago sa NCR, may NCR Plus, may soft MECQ, hard GCQ. Ba't may circuit breaker dyan? Okay? Ito yung bago, granular lockdown. Okay? To control the movement of people. Ngayon, kung masyado ka nang nalilito, ito na lang. ECQ, MECQ, GCQ. Ibig sabihin, bawal lang kaunti. And then GCQ, pwedeng lumabas. Okay? Anong susunod sa ECQ, GCQ, MECQ? Hindi Pasko. Kakanta na ba ako? Okay, and then, the restrictions with regards to face mask, face shields, di ba? Iba't ibang face shield ang lumalabas. Okay, let's go now to the impact of COVID-19 on the justice system. Sabi nga natin, everyone is affected, even the justice system. So how did we cope up? How did we adapt to the ever-changing situation? Okay? First, of course, kapag mayroong outbreak ng COVID or mayroong na-infect ng COVID, ang usually ginagawa, nagko-close. Or nag-ooperate lang through skeleton staff. Or lately, tinetext kaming mga lawyers to help in the Department of Justice National Prosecution Service. Tumutulong kami saan sa preliminary investigation hearings, case conferences, meetings, and trainings. Okay? Which is voluntary po. Hindi po yan bayad. So that is a part of becoming a lawyer. Okay? You don't look at the money side of things. You always look on the areas wherein you can contribute. Okay, kapag medyo nag-GCQ, yan, inaalaw yung mga physical na mga inquest proceedings. Okay, so everyone is affected. Of course, the courts. Ilang months na nagsasara ang courts. Okay? And of course, yung effect niyan, cases are hampered, nade-delay. Okay? Ang medyo merong leeway lang ngayon is yung criminal cases because you have to think of the freedom or the rights of the accused. But during the ECQ, closed ang courts, especially for in-person. But before ng ECQ, allowed pa kami mag-appear on sa site. Ganito yung situation. Pero hindi kasi ito sa Philippines. Pero ganito, mas maganda kasi yung court nila eh. Pero yung ganyan sa court natin. Okay? Only the lawyers and the interested parties are allowed. Before kasi everyone can enter the court and watch the hearing. Now, you cannot. And then we transition to digital hearings. Okay? Wherein you don't really appear to court. You appear online. That's one of the things that we have adopted in the justice system. Okay, ganyan. Okay? Ngayon, nag-change na rin ang outfit ng mga lawyers, di ba? From tuxedo pants to tuxedo boxers. Okay, meron din ako, syempre. Ayan. Boxer. So, affected, pati kami. And then, the Supreme Court is now moving to digitalize everything. So this is the impact of COVID-19 in the rule of law. Before, hindi kami allowed basta-basta mag-video conference. You have to submit motions. Okay? Ngayon, meron ng e-court. Okay? Meron ng e-payment din. Itong e-notarization, meron na rin yan. Virtual hearings, meron na. E-warrant, I think, ongoing. Then learning management system. We have to adapt. We can't, sabi nga nila, COVID is here. And it might stay for long. So, we'd rather adapt than continue with our old ways. Okay? Just like previous generations, of course. Ayan, bigyan ko kayo ng difference between case schedules. Before, dito, makita niyo yung araw ko, yung case schedule is posted siya sa labas ng court, sa tabi ng door ng courtroom. But now, you have to add or like the page of the court. Ito kasi MTCC branch 1. Okay, nakuha ko to sa Facebook because I follow them. Okay, they only post it there na lang sa Facebook. Okay, wala na ito. So, online na lahat. Virtual, digital. That's where we're heading. How about for the lawyers? Before, the lawyers travel through different courts. Diba? They meet different clients in different places. With regards to their mandatory continuing learning, education, compliance, nag-a-attend sila sa iba't ibang lugar. But now, all of these are done online. Digital na lahat. And what has it done for the lawyers? Less travel, less expenses na rin, and less exposure to COVID. Okay, and this might stay for good. Okay? And then, there is now a move, sabi ko nga kanina, to prepare the new generation of lawyers for the imminent full digitalization of the judiciary. They are proposing that sa law school, meron na ring IT and communication subjects, which is very different than dun sa law school na pinuntahan ko. Okay? And now, during these 2021 bar exams, we're doing it online. Okay? Sir, paano online? Regionalized na siya. Hindi na tayo, before kasi pupunta lahat ng magte-take ng bar sa Manila. Sa Manila lahat. Wala nang ibang lugar. Okay? Now, you take it here. Accredited na ang Cagayan State University. So, dun magte-take yung mga gustong mag-take here. Okay? And, online na. Yung mga nagsasabi na kailangan maganda ang penmanship mo to take up law para makapasa ka. No! Kasi ngayon na sa bar exam, laptop na sila. Wala na yun. Okay? That is old news. Okay? So those are the changes that lawyers in the justice system are adapting to. How about the prisons? The jail? Sabi ko kanina, before pandemic, meron na yung problema na yan. How much more now? Diba? Isipin mo yan, parang time bomb o parang bomba. Pag may nakapasok na virus sa isa dyan, diba? Ang transmission yan, sobrang bilis. Because of the situation, dikit-dikit ang tao. Okay? Yan. Oh. How can you implement social distancing? How can you implement all of those things? Okay? How about the civil society and access to justice? We have transitioned to remote working and online learning. Okay? As well as IBP, the Organization of Lawyers, encourage all its members to be proactive during the COVID-19 pandemic. Kaya every now and then we conduct legal aid advices. Meron kami ngayon because September is law month. Madami kaming activities, webinars regarding law. because this month is low month. Okay? How about on the vulnerable groups, on the poor? Okay? Particular concerns for poor people in the context of the pandemic include limited or no access to soap and water and face masks, cramped and closed living quarters, making social distancing difficult, and limited access to health, basic social services, and public transport, I should say. The suspension of social welfare programs, although right now we're trying to veer to find a way wherein we can still continue that. And of course, 4Ps, which has always been there, has always been helping poor people. Kasi before, ang view ko sa 4Ps is cash subsidy kasi ito. You're giving money to basically people who don't have money or who don't have any ways of earning money. Okay? So, ang sa akin before is that, ba't bibigyan mo pera? Parang pinapaasa mo lang na every month, kukuha ng pera sa'yo. But try to look at their side, at their feet, kung saan sila natutulog, kung ano yung ginagawa nila. Wala walang-wala. Yung mga graduates nga, minsan nawawalan ng opportunities. How about these people na hindi man lang nakatapos, na hindi educated? What do you expect them to do? Okay, that's why, of course, 4Ps is a temporary solution to that, which is eventually sana may permanent solution to poverty, which has been existing for years. Okay? See? And you cannot blame people if they work, if they go outside to find a job, because they don't have something to eat, di ba? They don't have something to put on their table, on their plate. Sabi nga nila, we're on the same boat. No, we're not on the same boat. We're on the same hurricane, we're on the same typhoon, but we're not on the same boat. Some are riding on yachts, on huge cruises. Meron yung sa ordinaryong bangka lang because we're not the same. Okay? Significant events that transpired during pandemic. Terror is a little poison on the rule of law. Why is my tone like this? Because there has been an attack on lawyers and judges. And it did not really start during the pandemic. It started during the regime of our president. What? Na-exceed na ba ako sa time ko? Hello? Hello? Okay lang, tuloy ko. Mabilis na lang, patapos na. Red tagging is a death sentence. Many of those named have either been extrajudicially killed or arrested and detained for criminal charges. Ito of the 110 lawyers, judges, and prosecutors killed in the past 50 years, at least 61.
Oh, sir, yung choppy lang po.
Okay na ba ngayon? Sabi pa rin. Hello?
Attorney, sorry, interrupt po.
Sige, okay lang.
Pero choppy lang po kasi. Opo, choppy lang po kasi I think there's no problem sa inyo.
Yeah, nakadata kasi ako na putol yung connection namin. Okay na ba? Ngayon? Wait lang ha. Okay na siya. Parang hindi pa okay ah. Hello? Hello? Gaya ng sabi ko, at least 61 over the last 5 years. Dito lang sa regime na ito.
Okay na po, attorney.
Okay na. 61 ang namatay na lawyers,
Opo.
judges, and
Okay na
prosecutors.
po, attorney.
Okay, sige.
Okay na po.
Ngayon, hindi na 61. Actually, may mga bagong news na 65 na. Meron na yung bagong binaril sa South Cotabato. We don't know if these attacks are connected or are political, but the rule of law is hampered. Why? Because red tagging lawyers and judges is meant to incapacitate remaining mechanisms of accountability and the rule of law. Because if you restrict these lawyers and these judges, you can eventually do anything. Walang pupuna sa'yo. Walang accountability. Just like what they are doing now. Diba? Red tagging is a swift and deadly means to silence lawyers and other members of civil society who continue to denounce the highly securitized approach to the pandemic and defend its ranks from assault and violence. Diba? Ngayon, pag nag-speak up ka, or may pinrotect ka lang na nagka-question regarding his human rights, nire-red tag ka, di ba? There is that mental fear being established in you. And lately, last year, I think, or early this year, there has been, merong kumakalat na form galing sa police na hinihingi nila yung names ng lawyers na nagre-represent sa mga NPAs, ganun. Which is, what's the point? Di ba? When you're a lawyer, you're doing your job to protect those people na you think are innocent. But what you think as a lawyer really doesn't matter because these people have rights. Okay? These people have rights. Kahit pa sabihin mong nagnakaw talaga yan or meron siyang ginawa na hindi maganda, okay? Meron pa rin siyang rights with regards to his arrest. Lahat yan. Okay? For even as the rule of law has been weakened, it also holds the power to peacefully countenance terror. That's why there has been a continuous attacks to the rule of law. Sabi nga ng Supreme Court in their latest jurisprudence, to threaten our judges and our lawyers is no less than an assault on the judiciary. To assault the judiciary is to shake the very bedrock on which the rule of law stands. This cannot be allowed in a civilized society like ours. Okay? So when you attack the judiciary and the lawyers, the rule of law eventually breaks because there will be no one to protect everyone. Lahat susunod kay ganito, kay ganyan. Kasi lahat takot. That's why I admire those lawyers who continue to fight even if sobrang iba yung politics today. Okay? How about the IATF? Ngayon mo lang ito nakita Interagency Task Force. Ngayon lang ito nag-exist during the pandemic, which is very powerful. Why? Because they implement critical aspects of emergency powers. Diba? They have broad powers to issue rules and regulations. If you can, if I may share, LGUs have their own autonomy. They have their own powers. Pero by virtue of the existence of IATF, the LGUs will still have to submit to IATF. That's how powerful IATF is. Diba ang Tugigaraw, ang Cagayan, or kahit ano pang lugar, kailangan munang mag-submit ng suggestion nila. Let's say for example, yung IATF ni-recommend na ang Tugigaraw ECQ. Okay? Ngayon kung gustong impamodify yan, kailangan pang mag-request ng LGU sa IATF. That's how powerful IATF is. Sobrang powerful. And yung latest pa na nangyari kay Harry Roque, if you know, the presidential spokesperson. Anong sabi niya? Meron akong picture niya dito eh. How about this one? Di ba? Yung issue regarding corruption. Di ba? Yung nahanap ng COA. Can you blame COA? That's their job. Ba't mo pe-personalin, di ba? Almost 549,409,866 pesos are irregular. 1 million are unnecessary. 7 million are excessive. Tapos, ang daming naghihirap sa Pilipinas. Diba? That's why it's important that the rule of law shall not be shaken. Must not, should not be shaken. Kahit ang daming nangyayaring ganyan. Diba? Pag nahuli, magdadrama. Magdadrama sa social media, sa online. Okay? Was COVID-19 ever flattened? No. What is flattened? It's the rule of law. Okay? Rule of law is flattened. Rule of law means that the law applies equally to unequal people. The law applies to the government and the governed, the administrators and the administered. Okay? That is rule of law. Kapag meron kang preference sa mga politicians or sa mga mas nakakataas, sa mga artista, ganyan, that is rule of men. That's not rule of law. No one is exempted and no one can grant an exemption. Granting exemptions leads to rule of men. Philippines ranked 51st out of 102 countries in the Raleigh 2015 report. Pero ngayon, 91st na. I think 2020 pa ito, baka 2021, baka mas worse. Our rank is lower than socialist countries and military-ruled Thailand. So mas worse pa tayo sa kanila. The main factors for this? Because of the violation of fundamental rights of the people, sabi ko nga sa inyo, every basic human being has their own human rights. Innate sa kanila yan. Kahit tanggalin mo ang konstitusyon, tao ka, meron kang human rights and criminal justice. Sabi nga natin kanina, strict lockdown, meron ngang strict lockdown policies, pero sometimes there are double standards. Okay? Dito sa 2020 Raleigh report, 130,000 household ang sinurvey, 4,000 ang lawyers na sinurvey out of 128 countries. Number 91 tayo. Kung gaano tayo kalala. Ay. Gaya nito, ito yung sinasabi ko. Sabi niya, he is living it up to the IATF to file a case against the video leaker. Pero matatawa ka na lang kasi ang sabi niya, the doctors, yung pinapagalitan niya yung doctors, sabi niya, liable yung nag-leak ng video for revealing public secrets. Public secrets? Diba kahit naman ordinaryong tao pag sinabing public secrets? When public, it is known by everyone, by the public. Tapos secret. Diba? Taga-UP to eh. Graduate to ng UP pero ewan ko. Kaya siguro dinisown na ng UP, diba? How about this? Lawyer directly asks Duterte for his salary this time. Can a lawyer do that? Can any person do that? Pwede ba? Before natin sagutin yan, ito yung latest. The International Criminal Court has authorized the investigation into the crimes with regards to drug war, which is a very good, a very bright spot during this regime. Okay? Pero bakit yung sabi ko, can a lawyer or an ordinary person question or ask for the salary of a president? Pwede yan. Nasa batas, nasa konstitusyon. Ang sabi dyan, in the case of the President, Vice President, members of the Cabinet, Congress, Supreme Court, CONCOM, and other constitutional offices, and offices of the Armed Forces with General, the declaration shall be disclosed to the public in the manner provided by law. It shall be disclosed to the public. The SALN shall be disclosed to the public. Kahit ordinaryong tao ka pa, pwede mong makita sana ang salin ng president, but what are they doing now? Diba? That is uh, the overall uh, effect of this regime, trying to abuse the law on the presumption that people don't know the law. But, but kaya tinatarget ng lawyers and judges or justices because they know the law. If you eliminate them, mas less ang magke-question. Okay? And to leave you with the statement of Sonia Renee Taylor. Our pre-corona existence was not normal, other than we normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction. We should not long to return, my friends. We are given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all humanity and nature. May these times be a lesson, an inspiration, and a challenge for us all. So, being uh, the future generation, I leave it up to you guys to continue the fight. Okay? Fight for what is right. Fight for what's good. I know, Luisians kayo, you can do so many things. Okay? Thank you. That's all.
Thank you for that, Attorney Carl Eric Linian. So,